Colin's riding skills are now becoming second nature. He's learning to apply them to a special horse which has been flown in from Madrid to take the role of the legendary Bucephalus, the wild horse that Alexander tamed as a child and rode for nearly 20 years. Having mastered the riding, Colin Farrell's next challenge is to lead his men for real as they charge in the decisive battle of Alexander's campaign. The Great Battle of Gaugamela was fought on a plain in modern Iraq. Oliver Stone plans to recreate it here in Morocco. Everything Colin and his men have learnt over the past weeks is about to be put to the test. In preparation for the big day, Colin has been studying Alexander's tactics at Gaugamela, as soldiers still do today.
Darius's forces outnumbered Alexander by a factor of perhaps 5 to 1. We think there were about 300,000 soldiers on the field on the Persian side alone, compared to about 40,000 on Alexander's side. So Alexander faced great odds.
Alexander, as was his custom, would arrange his army in one long line with his phalanx at the center and the cavalry on either side.
You're on the Great Plain of Gaugamela here. If you look off to my left, this would be the Macedonian line. The Macedonian line extends off about a mile and a half in that direction.
The 400,000 Persians were arranged in two great lines with around 20,000 cavalry on either side. Darius, the Persian king's plan, was to encircle the Macedonians and crush them from behind. Alexander saw through Darius' strategy and began to put his own plan into action.
Alexander will ride out in that direction with his companion cavalry, straight out toward the horizon out there. That will cause a reaction in the Persian line, which is all along here.
Alexander hoped that the Persians would try to follow him, spreading their troops ever thinner until a gap appeared in their lines. It would be an incredibly high-risk strategy, but like Alexander, Colin must betray no sense of anxiety to his men.
Prepare to repel chariot!
In a heroic society, a society in which warriors seek battle for personal glory, it is a necessity that the leader lead from the front.
On the eve of the great battle, Alexander set up camp a few miles from the plain of Gaugamela.
In Alexander's camps at night, the cavalry would be around one group of fires, the infantry perhaps round another. Alexander's camp would have been full of tall stories. There was an atmosphere of anticipation, boastfulness, competition, and then, in the evening, sex and drink, the eternal companions of a soldier's life.
Colin's men in the boot camp have to go without sex and drink. But as the day of reckoning draws near, his soldiers are brought face to face with the reality of ancient warfare.
Generally, the clash of arms didn't last very long. I'm talking, not you. Generally, the clash of arms, the actual hacking and slashing with hair, eyes, and teeth flying all over the area, only lasted for a short time. So much of the business of defeating your enemy was by intimidation. When you all came together in the syntagma, it was frightening. You understand now, in your mind and in your heart and in your gut, what this is going to require. From now on, it gets faster and faster and faster and faster, and you've got to learn. You've got to concentrate. You got to give me everything you've got. Alexander, can't you see?
Alexander, can't see!
What the feeling's done to me?
What the feeling's done to me?
Drew some horrible blood and gore.
Drew some horrible blood and gore.
Turned around around and drew some more.
Turn around and drew some more.
I used to herd a lot of sheep.
I used to herd a lot of sheep.
Now I barely get some sleep.
Now I barely get some sleep.
Whoa.
It's a gigantic moment. Something I've been trying to get my head around for 6 months, and something that I don't know if when I'll be. I'd give it a good go today, though. I tell you, you know, it's just it's at being at the edge of the cliff, you know. And I've had a long time to look at the drop, and then it's just taking that final step. Yeah. And once you go, there's no turning back, which is a glorious thing. It's beautiful.
He gave us this talk, and he said about the thing that he's Alexander, but he said, I can't do it without you, and I can't do it without you, and I can't do it without you. He said, we've got to come together like the companions did in that time. I mean, they couldn't have accomplished the feats that Alexander did without his men, and so he really gave us a feeling of being a part of something, you know.
You can do it. You've seen you can do it. You can do it with a bit of focus, some hard work.
And for fair.
This will be beautiful.
Good boy. That makes you feel.
Colin is in the very end of the process of becoming Alexander the General. He will now be able to control this army in the field through his presence, through his bearing, through his command presence.
Phalanx! Attention! Can you do this?
Yes, sir!
Can you do this?
Yes, sir!
Let's see it.
Filming is about to begin, and we shall discover whether Colin has finally become Alexander. Colin has learnt to ride and fight. He has learnt to lead and inspire. Now the day has at last arrived for him to step into the clothes of Alexander the Great.
It's bizarre, actually, and a little bit ridiculous, and kind of hard to look at yourself in the mirror at first, because you're wearing all these fine gowns and you know, Persian clothing, and it's empowering, man. It's bottom line, you know. And it's such a detachment from anything I've ever worn in my life, anything I've ever seen, and it fits surprisingly well. And the clothes will eventually, when I wear them like they're my own, that'll be a turning point.
We're seeing a youngster go from, I'm a Dublin street kid worried about being an actor, to I'm a leader of men, and I have a responsibility therein. It's a magic transformation. It's a magic change. I'm very proud of it.
Oliver Stone has spent the past weeks rehearsing and preparing for the Battle of Gaugamela, still regarded as one of the greatest set-piece battles ever fought. The camera is about to start rolling for the first take, and the moment has come to discover whether Colin has succeeded in becoming Alexander.
It's just a defining moment. And this is the time, this is when it's going to happen. This is when we're going to go to battle. There's 300,000 of them, there's 50,000 of us. But tomorrow's going to be the day.
Surely this man, if he were human, had to have some kind of fear, some kind of doubt about the outcome. And yet, there's no record that Alexander demonstrated or displayed any kind of fear or uncertainty or discomfort. And he knew what his soldiers really needed to be inspired for battle. He gave them that in abundance.
To look at this, Jesus, man, I mean, look at it. To look at all this. Just imagine the place, imagine the time, imagine the feeling, imagine the fear or lack of fear, the embracing of the future, destiny, fate, the potential, the battle tomorrow, all the boys. It's going to be a lot of blood. It's going to be a lot of blood. It's going to be a lot of lives lost.
Everyone on the set behaved as if they knew there was something special about him. There was a special light around him. Then I felt it too in myself, that Alexander's spirit, such as it, whatever form it took on the set, was there, and it lifted people. Colin Farrell is Alexander.
Oliver Stone began filming Alexander on the 19th of September 2003. After 3 months of blood, sweat and tears, 28-year-old Hollywood bad boy Colin Farrell led 500 men into battle.
I say to you, what every warrior has known since the beginning of time, conquer your fear! And I promise you, you will conquer death! When they ask you why you fought so brave...
It's a glorious moment. It's just a glorious moment.
Zeus be with us!
I just want to get through them and then keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going.